Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So over the last few episodes, we have visited some beautiful Florida Gulf Coast beach towns. First off, I went to Clearwater Beach, then headed to Sarasota, and then ended my time in Florida at Siesta Key. So I thought it would be fun to come up with a ranking matrix where I have different categories and then I rate each of the towns according to that category. It is going to be very difficult to figure out who the true winner is. I'm sure that the scores are going to be very close to each other, but let's try this and let's get started. Hey guys, it's Jamie and Jimbo. We love to travel, camp, spend time with family and friends, check out local foods, and especially hang out with our girls. Welcome to What a Day with J&J, where every day is a story worth sharing. All right, so the first category is beach vibes. This category is going to include the beach itself, along with the sunset experience and the crowd level of each of the towns. I will say that all of these beach towns have that perfect white, powdery sand that you just expect when you visit a Gulf Coast Florida town. So that's really the baseline for my rating. So first off is Clearwater. Beautiful beach, but I will say that this town is super crowded because the beach is just set up with more condos, hotel accommodation options right there by the water. The sand itself, of course, was powdery white, but it did include lots of seashells. That's going to be something to think about when I do my rating. The Pier 60 sunset area was also kind of a dud when I was there, but that's absolutely because of the weather. It was a very rainy, cloudy day close to sunset. So next I went to St. Armand Circle in the Sarasota area. The scenery around the beach was beautiful, very serene, quiet. There was a bird nesting zone, lots of greenery, short walk from St. Armand Circle as well. Gorgeous sunset with a nature reserve as the backdrop. So you could not beat just how beautiful that beach area was in Sarasota. It's not too busy, and there was a very small amount of seashell pieces, but they were there. So then last is Siesta Key, the perfect Florida Gulf sand. No seashell pieces, very powdery, just absolutely gorgeous, exactly what I was looking for. This area was pretty busy because of just how beautiful it is. There were lots of families, couples, lots of pictures being taken. Photographers were down there in the area as well, taking photos. I will say that Siesta Key offered the best sunset during my stay, and that has a lot to do with the weather. It was just a perfect evening, but gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. And the walk to the beach was a very short walk from Siesta Key Village. So can you guys guess who the winner is? The winner is Sarasota, and that is mainly because of just the scenery around the beach area and the overall vibe of St. Armand Circle and the walk to the beach, and just that area itself is exactly what I was looking for. All right, so next up is food. So the food scene at each of these beach towns. Clearwater had the best grouper that I had the entire week. So you must go to Frenchie's if you're ever in the area, but don't forget to try those jalapeno hush puppies. Those were amazing. Lots of restaurant options around where Frenchie's is located, as well as from there to Pier 60. You can park your car and walk and go to a restaurant and try something new each night that you're there. Next to Sarasota, my main focus in Sarasota was St. Armand Circle. Tons of restaurant options from lots of different cultures. So there was Italian, Cuban, Mexican, and then just Florida cuisine itself. Cha-Cha coconuts was delicious, especially the coconut shrimp. So you must try those if you're ever in the area. And then lastly, Siesta Key. So I walked from Siesta Key Village to the beach, very short walk, lots of restaurant options, but you can just tell that Siesta Key's focus is more of a restaurant bar scene. So just keep that in mind. And it is just a very busy area. So you need to either go to dinner early or later, or just be okay with waiting in line. So the winner for food scene is again Sarasota. And that's really just because of the overall experience of St. Armand Circle And even though the food at Frenchie's is something that you must try, it was probably the best food. But if I'm going to rate food scene and food options, I'm going to go with Sarasota. Okay, and next is sweet treats. Just a reminder, in Clearwater, I've visited the Ice Cream and Creamery and had their key lime pie ice cream. In Sarasota, I visited Big Olaf's and went with their coffee ice cream. And then in Siesta Key, I went to Kilwin's and tried my favorite, cookies and cream. Because of the overall texture and flavor and just the creaminess of the ice cream, the winner is going to Clearwater. And that is due to Ice Cream and Creamery. It's absolutely some of the best ice cream I've ever had. Next, we're going to talk about the village shopping area itself. So in Clearwater, the big area to visit is around Pier 60, but you can walk from Pier 60 up and down the street. There's tons of shopping options, all within walking distance of Pier 60. So that is very convenient. St. Armand Circle is full of local boutique options for your shopping needs, souvenirs, jewelry, clothes, bathing suits, whatever you might need, you can find it around St. Armand Circle. In Siesta Key Village, like I've mentioned, it's just a very lively area that really focuses more on restaurants and bars. So shopping wise, you can definitely find some local souvenirs, but I wouldn't bank on spending a lot of time in Siesta Key Village for shopping by itself. So because of the local shopping offerings and just the boutique options, I am going with St. Armand Circle as the winner for this category. Okay, and then the last category is parking and transportation. So when I arrived in Clearwater, Florida, I parked next to Frenchie's. There's a parking lot right next door, and it has easy beach access. So that was a great option to have. When I went to Pier 60 for the sunset, there was a parking lot right there, and I was able to find a spot easily. But I will say, probably because of the weather and it being cloudy and rainy that evening, the parking was probably more available for me during that time, but you might have some trouble finding somewhere to park around Pier 60. So just keep that in mind. So in Sarasota, of course, St. Armand Circle, there's parking offerings around the circle itself. Keep in mind, if you pay for parking and there's a time limit, make sure you're back by that time expiration or you will get a ticket, because they are walking around giving tickets to those cars that have an expired parking ticket. So parking permit, whatever it may be called. So watch out for that. Just a heads up. And then for Siesta Key, there's a free trolley. So there's no worrying about where we need to park, when we need to get there. Is it going to be crowded? Just hop on that trolley. It'll take you where you need to go, and it's free. So you cannot get any better than that. And that is why the winner for parking and transportation is Siesta Key. So when we combine all the scores from all the different categories, the winner is, drumroll, the winner for me is Sarasota. And like I've explained, that is just based on the vibe, the laid backness of the St. Armand Circle. The scenery at the beach was absolutely beautiful. It's exactly what I was looking for just a night away after work. And I cannot wait to return there on vacation with my husband so that we can walk around and just enjoy the vibe of Sarasota. My advice would be, if you're close to these towns, to just visit all three and just see what you like and pick up from each of the towns kind of what your favorite thing is. If you have been to any of these beach towns that I visited, please comment below which is your favorite. Like I said, this is just my opinion and you can agree with my ratings. That is perfectly fine. But I would love to hear what your favorite Florida beach town is in the Gulf area of Florida. If you missed any of my previous videos, I will link them in the description below. And as always, thank you guys so much for the support. Thank you for watching my previous videos. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel. And if you hit that notification bell, you'll ensure that you don't miss out on any future adventures. I hope that you enjoyed this little recap video. I will see you guys next time.